What up, YouTube? Welcome back to the channel, y'all. Thanks for tuning in. We finna get into the new Harry Potter cast. You know, they're coming out with the Harry Potter reboot, and I heard it was a pretty wild list. So I ain't trying to spend no time on no intro or anything. Let's just get on and get right into it.
New generation. Now, the folks over at Max have previously stated this would be a faithful adaptation of J.K. Rowling's original 7-book series.
This new series will take shape as a faithful adaptation of all 7 original books and will stand alongside the iconic films to an entirely new generation of Harry Potter fans.
They've even talked
New
about the
generation.
opportunity to include more scenes, storylines, and even characters that were cut from the films. So with those bold statements and such a big focus on maintaining the authenticity of the original books, needless to say, there were a lot of eyes on the casting announcements. Now, leading into this, many longtime fans have been cautiously optimistic. And now that
Wonder
we have the
who's
first
playing.
wave of casting announcements, many are starting to
Who's going
raise
to be
even
the
more
professor?
concerns.
Who's going to be
But
the new
let's take a look
professor?
at these casting announcements one by one and see how well they line up with the book version of the character. We'll start with Albus Dumbledore, who will be portrayed by American actor John Lithgow in the new TV series. A veteran of stage and screen, Lithgow brings a resume filled with
can see him as
gravitas and
Dumbledore.
emotional complexity. Best known
You can
for
see
his
him as
roles in The
Dumbledore.
Crown, Dexter, and the beloved sitcom Third Rock from the Sun, Lithgow's versatility spans Shakespearean tragedy and absurdist comedy. He won multiple Emmys, Tonys, and Golden Globes, making him one of the most decorated actors in the cast. In the books, Dumbledore is described as tall and thin with silver hair. He has a beard so long it could be tucked into his belt. Of course, he has his iconic half-moon spectacles and eyes that are described as a piercing, brilliant blue with a twinkle of mischief and wisdom. His voice is calm, his presence commanding, and his demeanor often whimsical. Dumbledore is kind, enigmatic, and deeply intelligent. He's known for his love of sweets, cryptic speech, and unfathomable plans. Beneath this eccentric surface, though, lies a man burdened by his past
story on,
mistakes
like, you
and the
know,
weight
each
of a
character.
very
That's
great
pretty cool.
responsibility. In the first 2 Potter films, Dumbledore was portrayed by the late Richard Harris. He gave the character a soft-spoken, grandfatherly air. After Harris's
He was a
death,
good
late Michael
Dumbledore.
Gambon took on the role from Prisoner of Azkaban onward. He brought a more energetic and sometimes divisive intensity to the role. Many fans are intrigued by the casting of Lithgow, especially given his history portraying intellectual but morally complex characters. He stands 6 feet 4 inches tall, which means he won't need any camera tricks
Dumbledore
or
was
special
6'4"?
effects to match Dumbledore's tall, commanding
Damn.
presence. Lithgow's age,
He was
vocal
like
tone,
six,
and
six
range
one, six
also
two.
seem to
Like
be
he
a
was
really
six
good
four.
match for the
Dumbledore
legendary
could dunk.
Dumbledore. Of course, his age could also become problematic, considering the series will film over the next decade, which would put
But yeah, I
Lithgow
could see
in his
this guy right here
40s
playing
by the time
Dumbledore.
everything wraps up. Here's to hoping
I
Lithgow
could see
and
him
all
playing
the actors
Dumbledore.
remain healthy and eager to keep playing their roles throughout the next 10 years. It is worth noting that Lithgow is the lone American actor on the list. This represents a departure from the original films, which focused only on actors from the UK, considering that's where the book series takes place. At the same time, given Lithgow's extensive experience, even in British roles, he should definitely be able to pull off the role of Dumbledore. I've seen him in several things over the years, and my hope is that he can bring a nice balance of Gambon and Richard Harris.
Who's
Because
playing
while I
Rubeus?
appreciate what each of those brought to the role, neither of them never quite nailed that book version of Dumbledore that I've always had in my head. Now, even as an American, I will also add that I always appreciated that authenticity to actually using UK-based actors in the original movies. So at first, I was a little bit concerned when they started to go outside of that. I will say, we only need to look at Lithgow's history, though, to see that he can absolutely pull off roles for UK-based characters. So I'm certainly less worried about that now.
Is it going to be all American
about this one. 63-year-old
just now?
British actress Janet McTeer will take on the role of Professor Minerva McGonagall. A 2-time Oscar
Okay.
nominee and Tony Award
I
winner,
see her as
McTeer is
McGonagall.
best known for her work in Tumbleweeds, Albert Nobbs, Ozark, and The Honorable Woman. She actually stands just over 6 feet tall and appears to have all the
Okay.
traits needed for a book-accurate McGonagall. Her performance is
Okay,
also
I
blend
can see her.
intensity
I can
and
see her
sweetness,
playing
both key ingredients for portraying the transfiguration
Professor
and
McGonagall.
head of Gryffindor House. The book version of McGonagall is described as
As
a
long
tall,
as they
severe-looking
stay,
woman with black hair, usually pulled
you
into a
know,
tight
pretty
bun and
close
square
to the
spectacles.
original
Her appearance is
characters. This
stern,
should be
she
pretty
often
cool.
wears
So
only a
far,
green robe.
the first 2 is
McGonagall
cool.
is disciplined, fiercely loyal, and deeply principled. Though she exudes a strict exterior, her deep care for her students and unwavering bravery, especially in the later books, show her as one of the most quietly heroic characters in the series. and let's be honest, a definite fan favorite. Dame Maggie Smith's portrayal of McGonagall across all 8 films was iconic. Dry,
She
witty,
she
commanding,
took
she
on that
brought
role.
grace, steel,
She
and a
killed that
quiet
role.
warmth to the role, setting a gold standard that will be absolutely very difficult to follow. While some fans are always going to be fiercely loyal to Maggie Smith's interpretation, there's no denying that McTeer has very impressive qualifications for the role. British actor Nick Frost will play the beloved Hogwarts gamekeeper Rubeus Hagrid.
Frogs?
Known primarily for his comedic work in movies like Shaun of the Dead and Hot Fuzz, Frost brings a uniquely British
See what
charm
he
and
looked
physical
like.
presence to the role. He's definitely on the shorter side though, standing at around 5 feet 7 inches.
Bruh.
Visual effects, camera shots, and maybe even stilts or platform shoes are going to be key here to ensure that he can match Hagrid's towering presence. Of course, in the books, Hagrid is a giant of a man, quite literally. He's described as being almost twice as tall as a normal man, which would put
Why
him
would
around
you
11 to 12
cast
feet tall.
somebody that's
His wild
fucking
black
short
hair, a tangled
to play
beard,
a
and
big
usually
dude?
wears moleskin over
Come on,
hoods.
man,
He
that
has a
was
somewhat
not good.
shabby, earthy appearance that is very fitting for his love of magical creatures. Warm-hearted, loyal, and sometimes a bit clumsy, Hagrid is deeply emotional and unwaveringly devoted to Dumbledore and the students of Hogwarts. He has a special fondness for misunderstood creatures and often finds himself in trouble for bending rules in the name of kindness. The late Robbie Coltrane brought Hagrid to life in the films with a lovable blend of gruff charm and tenderness. He made the character instantly iconic, earning the affection of fans young and old across all 8 films. Now, all that being said, Nick Frost has been a very popular pick among fan predictions. Even before we got the official announcement, he has long been predicted as someone who would make a very good Hagrid, so it's really no surprise that this one has been met with a very enthusiastic reception. Frost can absolutely nail that warmth and tenderness that makes Hagrid such a beloved character. As long as the effects and makeup are up to par here, he should be an outstanding book-accurate Hagrid. He's already endeared himself to fans even more by sharing a photo of himself with the first book along with a caption that reads, "Thank you for trusting me with such a loyal, gentle, and courageous half-giant like Rubeus Hagrid. Robbie, I promise I won't let you down." We also got confirmation on Professor Quirrell. He'll be played by the 29-year-old Luke Thallen. A rising British stage and screen actor, Thallen is known for his performances
So these are
in
not
Inheritance,
American
Patriots,
actors.
and
He's
Hamlet.
British.
Quirrell is described as a young and nervous-looking man with a pale face and a persistent stammer in the books. He wears a distinctive purple turban throughout the Philosopher's Stone.
Yeah.
He initially presents as timid and skittish, especially around anything related to the dark arts. Of course, it's later revealed that he's actually ambitious and cunning beneath this anxious exterior. His moral weakness allows him to be manipulated and ultimately possessed by the villain of the series, Lord Voldemort. Ian Hart played Quirrell in the first Harry Potter film and delivered a nuanced performance that balanced awkwardness with quiet menace, all culminating with one of the most memorable plot twists in the series. Now, my take on this one is that Thallen certainly looks the part. I will say I'm not as familiar with him as the other actors. He seems to be a bit more of an unknown here. So overall, I would say I'm cautiously optimistic about this one. A legendary figure in British comedy, 66-year-old Paul Whitehouse will take on the role of the Hogwarts caretaker Argus Filch. Though he's best known for comedic roles, Whitehouse also brings serious acting chops and an ability to add emotional depth to quirky characters. Now, we should also add he's the only actor so far who actually appeared in the original Harry Potter films. Who dares challenge Sarkanagan? Filch, of course, is the grumpy, magicless caretaker of Hogwarts. He's described in the books as a thin, cantankerous man with a hunched back, stringy gray hair, and a permanent scowl on his face. Of course, you can't talk about Filch without talking about his equally unpleasant cat, Mrs. Norris. Both of them delight in catching students who are breaking school rules. Filch is bitter about being a squib in a world full of wizards, and it shows in how he polices the halls. He's strict, nosy, and prone to shouting, but there's also a tragic element to his character. He longs to fit into this magical world that he serves but can never truly be part of. David Bradley portrayed Filch in all 8 films, turning him into an iconic background character. With his fierce glare and dry delivery, Bradley perfectly captured Filch's unpleasant yet oddly endearing energy. With some hair and makeup, I have no doubt that Whitehouse will be able to give us an excellent portrayal of Argus Filch. And last but certainly not least, the casting announcement that has generated by far the most discussion is that of Severus Snape. The rumors turned out to be true. In the new television series, he'll be portrayed by the BAFTA-nominated Papa Essiedu. The 34-year-old
Oh my god. Bruh. Bruh. No, 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 no. Why do they always do this type of shit, man? Why is Snape black? He a young black dude too. What the hell? Why is Snape black, bro? Why do they always do this shit, man? Why do they always do this shit, man? This makes me not even want to watch it no more, man. This is so disappointing. Snape was learning, like actually sitting down watching Harry Potter. Snape turned out to be a great person. And then they do this to him. I'm so disappointed, man. I'm so disappointed. Not the fact that it's the actor, it's the fact that Snape is black. Snape was not black. Why is Snape black? Let's see. Let's see if they say why. Why?
Year-old British
I
actor
need
as
to know
well as
why.
I May Destroy You, The Lazarus Project, and his critically acclaimed Shakespearean stage work. With a commanding presence and a talent for emotionally layered roles, Esiaду has been celebrated for bringing
Why
nuanced
Snape
emotions to
though?
complex characters. There's no doubt he
Oh,
has the
bruh.
experience and talent to
He
match
could have just
Snape's
gave him
emotional
another
intensity and
character. He
depth
could have
in
been his
the
own
roles. The
character.
biggest issue here, of course,
Like
is
a new
Esiadu's
character.
massive departure from Snape's physical description as it's written in the books. Snape is described in Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone as a thin man with yellowing, sallow skin, a hooked
Yes.
nose, and greasy black hair
Yes.
that frames his
Yellowing
face.
sallow
And he has
skin.
dark, piercing eyes
Not
that are
melanated.
cold, empty, and make Harry think of dark tunnels. His thin lips often curl into a smirk or
Thin
wrinkles
lips.
to reveal his yellowing, crooked teeth.
Not
His face
full.
is described as marble white, and in
Marble
appearance he
white.
wears those flowing black robes that give him the appearance
Not
of an overgrown
white.
bat. His cold demeanor and sharp tongue make him an immediate source of tension when Harry arrives at Hogwarts. On the personality side, Snape is cold, sarcastic, and seemingly antagonistic toward Harry and his friends. Beneath this cruel exterior lies one of the most complex character arcs in the series. Snape is a deeply loyal and broken man whose actions are shaped by
Snape right
unrequited
here.
love
This
and
is
quest
Snape.
for redemption. His bravery, revealed in
This
later
is
books,
Snape.
cast his earlier cruelty in a tragic new light. The late Alan Rickman played Snape in all 8 of the Harry Potter films. Rickman's Snape became one of the most iconic characters in the entire franchise. His performance is widely praised for bringing subtlety to a man shrouded in mystery until the very end. We also need to remember that the book version of Snape is actually a much nastier and meaner version of Alan Rickman's portrayal. I actually think Alan Rickman has made a lot of people forget just how terrible Snape is in the books. His treatment of Harry is what most remember, but he has some truly awful moments in how he treats Hermione, Neville, and
Just
other
did, man. I'm
characters.
not even.
There's no doubt this casting
I
choice
just
brings
didn't
about
want to
numerous
watch
issues
this
and
shit,
challenges that
man.
will be difficult to overcome while keeping the show
Is
faithful
Harry
to the
black
original
too?
books. Casting
Is
Esiadu's
Hermione
Snape could
black?
introduce a number of
What about
unintended
Ron?
racial undertones due to his skin color. Undertones that simply weren't present in the original series.
Is
To be
Voldemort
clear, we're
black?
talking specifically about skin color here. There were obviously other issues of racism in the series, and even more issues with prejudice tied to blood status. Now, in the book, so much of Snape's character development and his upbringing, it's intimately tied to his appearance and how he carries himself, but it has nothing to do with his race. Perhaps the most troublesome part here is that not only does
It
this
has
risk
everything
altering
to do
Snape's
with the
character,
race.
it could
Snape is not
dramatically alter the
black.
character of
He's
those around
white.
him, namely the Marauders and even Harry Potter himself. Harry suspects Snape early on in the first book as the one attempting to steal the Philosopher's Stone, but again, it's nothing to do with his race. The Marauders demean and bully a young Snape in the later books. But again, it's not because of his skin color. What kinds of changes and adjustments will the showrunners need to make to the source material to ensure that viewers don't get the wrong idea about Snape and these other characters? The official FAQ even says the show is promised to be authentic to the original books, but that is not to say the show won't feature things we didn't see in the film.
No. The show has promised to be authentic to the original books. Y'all messed up with Snape. Snape is authentically white. I'm so disappointed, man.
films. Showrunner Francesca Gardner was even concerned about sticking to the canonical ages of characters. In fact, Snape is one she mentioned, as he was only 31 in 1991, which should create for a very different vibe. Esiaду is 34 now and should be around 35 by the time they start filming, so he's certainly much closer to the age of Snape. It's interesting that Gardner seemed to be so concerned about getting the age right, but not as much on the physical appearance. Now, Esiaду as an actor is no doubt incredibly well qualified, but of all the characters to have a race swap in the Harry Potter series, Snape may be the most difficult one of all to actually pull off and to do it well and not alter the characters
Hold
of
on.
so many around
I'm
him.
trying to
WB
wrap
and
my
Matt
head around this. You don't see, I can't see Snape no other way than the original, authentic way. I don't see Snape right here. No dig at this man. No dig at this man at all. Nothing personal. But Snape should be his original, authentic self, man. Come on, man. Look at this. Let me go back. Look at this. Does this look like Snape? Y'all tell me, does this look like Snape? Does this look like Professor Snape? No, it does not. This killed me. This killed me, man. This hurt me. For real. For real. They finna fuck up the Harry Potter series. They finna fuck up the Harry Potter series. I'm now interested in seeing what else that they're gonna fuck up. Let Voldemort be not Voldemort. I ain't watching this shit. I ain't watching this shit. Let Hermione not be Hermione. I'm not watching it. I'm not watching this shit. Snape is already not Snape. Nah, man. I don't like this. I'm finna end this video right here, y'all. Hey, y'all, let me know in the comments how y'all feel. If you, all my Harry Potter fans out there, all my Harry Potter fans out there, if you feeling me, hit me up in the comments. This ain't Snape. I'm very disappointed, man. I'm upset. I'm upset. Till next time, y'all. I'm out. Peace.